Most of us want self-confidence just so we can improve our chances at finding potential relationships. But for me, I was so scared to talk to people, let alone women. And even nowadays, I'm still a bit apprehensive. But working in retail for a few years has really helped my social skills improve and has given me the confidence to at least appear confident. Being forced into social situations, it improves your ability to read social cues. When I was first starting my job, battling my introversy, if that's even a word, was really such an issue for me. And when I was starting to come out of my shell a bit, I'ma be real, I got used to talking to guys first. Now, I know that sounds kind of crazy, it sounds a bit sus, but it's normal conversation, right? Nothing crazy, normal convo. I just found it easier to talk to guys because there was no reading between the lines shit. It was just strictly about random stuff, whatever topic it may be. So when you talk to girls sometimes, they always assume you want something from them, so it's kind of hard to have conversations because they're already guarded up. With guys, it's not as hard to do. Plus, when I was just starting out, one of my friends who was a colleague, they tried to talk to a girl about something and they got complained to the manager for sexual harassment. And there was a whole investigation, all of that jazz, and I was just looking at it like, that ain't gonna be me. The last thing I wanted to do was talk to a girl when I wasn't confident and then get put that label on me. I'm good. One small detail I learned throughout years of just communicating with women at my job is that unless they directly ask you about something, they really want the conversation to be about them. And that's not because they're egotistical or anything, it's just because most of the time they'd rather talk about themselves than talk about someone else they don't know. Even if she's vague, even if she doesn't give you the full details, it's okay. She won't mind because the conversation's about her. And when it comes to approaching girls in order to get an Instagram or get a snap, I don't do that at all. I keep things very light, a slight conversation here and there, that's really it. Mainly because I don't think I'm ready to be in a relationship anyway. I need to improve myself physically, mentally, and financially. So there's no point in doing things that aren't beneficial to me right now. But I've always tried to maintain a casual approach when it comes to talking to new people. I always make sure I go over without the intent to actually want anything other than a question answered. It's easy to tell when people are approaching someone because they want something, their whole demeanor, their use of language, all of that stuff. It really factors in. But the more you approach without a goal and you get used to approaching people without a goal, the easier the conversation skills will come and the conversation muscles will be trained because you're not thinking as much, you're just operating just to operate. Like one time, there was a pretty customer who was trying to buy a bottle of wine. Obviously, I was at checkout, so I had to approve it and I couldn't tell her age properly, so I asked her for ID. She was already in a shitty mood, you could just tell by the way she was moving. And she looked visibly annoyed when I asked her for ID. I had to quickly think of a way to try and, make the situation a bit better because she was already pissed at me. I asked her for about wines basically, and I was like, I'm making a steak dinner for my mom. I want to try and make something fancy. What type of wine do you recommend? Now, I actually didn't give a fuck about the thoughts. I ended up doing this anyway as a Mother's Day thing. I ended up cooking it anyway. But at the time, this was complete cat. I just thought of something random in my head as a way to kind of lighten the mood. And she ate it up. I'm not gonna lie. We ended up having a pleasant 1 minute discussion about wines and these type of things. It turns out she's Italian. She forgot I even asked her for her ID until I gave her the ID back. So it's little things like that that started building my form of self-confidence because I then realized I could hold a simple but pleasant conversation with anyone really. It happened to be a woman at that time, but it could be man, woman, as long as it's someone I don't know, I'm still able to hold a pleasant conversation, even if it's very surface level. The fact that I'm able to make that step is something that took me by surprise, really. And it's just things I've learned over the years to sustain and to basically find anything and any reason to make a conversation. Now, one thing I realized about myself, and maybe this could be the case for you guys as well, but a lot of the times we're afraid and we have problems with self-confidence because we don't want to ask questions, because at least for me, you never know how the conversation is going to go, how they're going to feel about certain questions. You don't want to potentially offend someone, so you just kind of don't say anything because you'd rather not say anything than open your mouth and it goes crazy. But you got to remember, even the dumbest questions have answers. Depending on how they answer the question, it could lead to a joke or to another question. When I was new to the gym, this was the first few months in, and I was with my boy, we were doing deadlift, right? And I saw a girl at the gym and she was in shape. You could tell she was a gym veteran. You know how you can go to the gym and you'll see boy or girl, man or woman, that they're a gym veteran. She was a gym veteran. She was in shape, looked good, and she was pushing heavy weights. I was like, yeah, so she's a veteran. She was doing deadlift as well, but she was using a form that I had never seen before in my life. Usually when I do deadlift, I grip the bar like this, but she was doing some reverse thing, and I had never seen that before in my life. So I decided to, go up to her and just ask. because A, I knew it would help my confidence, and B, maybe I could actually learn something from someone who's a seasoned vet at the gym, and it might help my form in general. It might help me push more weight. Like, I was nervous as fuck, don't get me wrong. I was so nervous walking up to her, especially because of the gym creep shit that's going on. I haven't made a video about it and I'm not going to, but the shit is ridiculous. But I went over, asked the question, we had a little chat, and she was really nice. I ain't gonna lie, she was nice. It was a civil conversation. When we left, we waved each other goodbye, and that was it. Little things like that just helped my confidence a bit. And obviously when I went over, my boy was surprised because he doesn't see me talk to anyone about anything under any circumstance. So that was new for him to see me go and approach someone just to ask them about something, just on a casual thing. But you gotta treat these situations like ripping off a band-aid, basically. It's annoying, it's gonna hurt, but it's something that needs to be done. And when it's done, it's done. That's the way you gotta look at it, really. Now, I'm sure you can tell by watching this video, I don't have any concrete advice because I'm still going through the motion myself. With the stories I've told you and little gems I've thrown here and there, hopefully you can correlate it to something you're going through, and hopefully it works for you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you found something that inspires you. Keep going, man. Take care.
I'm not a savior nor a saint. Told 30s and sticks with an open case. I try to behave when I know I can't. So purpose of this is to motivate. What's the ticket? Shit we can negotiate. Take a toke of the law while I pour the drink.